Welcome to SATV News. This is Tushamin with our headlines. Khaleda Jia's travel abroad delayed due to health conditions, says Dr. AZM Zahid, urges not to spread misinformation. Tariq Rahman will return to Bangladesh very soon, says Amir Khosru. BNP will go to polls under Tariq's leadership. National election will be a major test for law enforcers, says Foreign Affairs Advisor. Now in details. BNP chairperson Khaleda Jia's planned journey to London for advanced treatment will remain on hold until she is medically clear to travel by air ambulance, said her personal physician Dr. AZM Zahid Hussain. Speaking to journalists outside Evercare Hospital today, Dr. Zahid said Khaleda Jia remains under close observation and her health condition will determine when she can be taken abroad. The air ambulance is ready, but her medical care, safety and security are the top priorities, he added. At the same, he said, doctors are monitoring Khaleda Jia's round the clock and will decide when it is safe for her to fly. Besides, Dr. Zahid said, the medical board, after an urgent review, concluded that it is currently unsafe for Khaleda Jia to travel, urging the public not to spread misinformation. He further requested everyone not to circulate rumors. Meanwhile, BNP Standing Committee member Amir Khosru Mahmood Chowdhury today said that preparations for the return of Tariq Rahman are nearly complete and he will return to the country very soon. BNP leader Amir Khosru made the remarks during a press conference at a hotel in the capital's Bonani area. He also said that Tariq Rahman is preparing to lead the party in the upcoming 13th National Parliament election. Besides, he said that the party's alliance candidates would be finalized shortly. With the upcoming national polls expected to be held in February, BNP has started announcing its candidates in various seats. BNP Standing Committee member Salahuddin Ahmed has expressed confidence that the upcoming national elections scheduled for February will earn global recognition and praise. He said the election would mark the beginning of change and emphasized that the people themselves would guard their votes, leaving no need for external intervention. He made these remarks today while addressing a women's rally in Khairbil Union of Chakaria Upazila in Cox's Bazar. Salahuddin Ahmed also said that the Election Commission is expected to announce the election schedule within the current week. An historic election will be held in Bangladesh in the first week of February, he added. Mr. Salahuddin claimed that Sheikh Hasina never demonstrated genuine trust, commitment or responsibility toward the people of Bangladesh. The BNP leader further added that Hasina's departure from the country in the face of a mass uprising proves she did not stand with the people of Bangladesh. Highlighting the role of law enforcers in holding a fair election, Foreign Affairs Advisor MD Tauhid Hossain today said the upcoming parliamentary polls will be a major test for law enforcement agencies. Although there were initial challenges, the police have now organized themselves effectively. Ahead of the election, law enforcement must remain vigilant. Those defeated in the polls may attempt to create disorder. The government's aim is to ensure a smooth election and hand over responsibilities to the newly elected government, he said. The advisor made these remarks during a meeting with Rangpur district officials. On agriculture export, the advisor said potato exports are under consideration but challenging due to limited global demand. Turning to manpower export, Tauhid Hossain stressed the importance of sending skilled workers abroad as wages remain low if they are not skilled manpower. Meanwhile, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor Syeda Rezwana Hassan said on Saturday that the young generation's leadership in wildlife protection is now undeniable. She said that increasing interest among youths in rescuing, caring for and rehabilitating wildlife back into nature is a hopeful sign for Bangladesh. Public awareness on wildlife safety and conservation has risen significantly compared to earlier times, said a press release. Rizwana made this remark while addressing a view exchange meeting at the Forest Bhavan in Agarga, Dhaka, with volunteers and organizations engaged in wildlife, forest and biodiversity conservation. The advisor said that people must uphold ethical values that ensure the coexistence of humans and nature. The religious and social values teach compassion, protection and responsible behavior to all living species. Standing beside vulnerable people and vulnerable animals is the truest expression of humanity, she further added. Industry advisor Adilur Rahman Khan today said the country's sugar industry cannot return to profitability through subsidies alone and stressed the need for strong local and foreign investment to revive the sector. He made these remarks while talking to reporters after visiting Nathor Sugar Mill and Uttara Ganabhavan. Mr. Adilur also said the government is working to attract investments and positive developments are expected in the sugar sector either during the tenure of the incumbent government or the next one. Sugar imports remain suspended now as the government will decide on importing sugar only after the stocks preserved are sold, added the advisor. Locally produced sugar is currently being marketed through the TCB, he asserted. He further said that discussions are underway to hold a meeting of the Council of Advisors at Uttara Ganabhavan as per tradition. A fire swept through a market in Narayanganj city in the early hours of today, burning down 35 shops. The blaze started around 5 a.m. at hosiery and body knitting shops in Samirkar market in the city's Notun Palpara area, said officials. 5 units of the fire service and civil defense responded to the scene after receiving the call at 4:55 a.m. Narayanganj Fire Service Deputy Assistant Director Abdullah Al Arifin said firefighters brought the flames under control after an hour of effort. The cause of the fire and the extent of the losses will be determined after an investigation, he added. We are taking a short break. Please stay with us.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো 80টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless and secured, elegant and eye-catching design. Indulge, relax, discover the first 5-star chain hotels in Bangladesh. Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka, 22 Cup.
Welcome back. You're watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. Afghanistan claims that 4 civilians have been killed after an exchange of heavy fire with Pakistan's forces along the shared border as tensions between the South Asian neighbors escalate after peace talks in Saudi Arabia failed to produce a breakthrough. Officials from both sides say the clashes broke out late on Friday night, with the two countries accusing one another of opening fire first. In a post on X, the spokesperson for Afghanistan's Taliban government, Zahibullah Mujahid, said Pakistani forces has launched attacks towards the Spin Budlog district, prompting our forces to respond. A spokesman for Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said it was the Afghan forces who carried out the unprovoked firing along the Chaman border. Pakistan remains fully alert and committed to ensuring its territorial integrity and the safety of our citizens, spokesman Musharraf Zaidi said in a statement. Negotiations on consolidating the US-backed truce in the war in Gaza are at a critical moment, said Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani on Saturday. During a panel at the opening of the Doha Forum in Qatar, Al Thani said that mediators are working together to force the next phase of the ceasefire forward. During the same session, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said that negotiators over the Gaza Stabilization Force remain ongoing, including its mandate and rules of engagement, and that its main objective should be to separate Israelis and Palestinians along the border. Wildfires in Austria's New South Wales burned through thousands of hectares of bushland on Saturday, prompting the authorities to urge evacuations at the highest danger rating for thousands of residents in the nation's most populous state. During a news conference in Sydney, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns said 12 homes were damaged or destroyed as bushfires burned through Pulwawang, about 45 kilometers north of the state capital Sydney, Australia's largest city. More than 70 bushfires were burning across the state late on Saturday, the authorities said, including a blaze in the state's upper Hunter area, also at the highest emergency rating, which had burned through almost 10,000 hectares. Australian authorities have warned of a high-risk bushfire season this Australian summer after several quiet seasons. United States President Donald Trump received the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize before the draw for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The award has been introduced this year by FIFA President Gianni Infantino, designated for a person who has taken exceptional and extraordinary actions for peace and united people across the world. During his speech, the U.S. President stated he had saved tens of millions of lives through diplomatic interventions and had stopped wars happening just before they started. Calling this one of the greatest honors of his life, Donald Trump said, before claiming that the 2026 World Cup has set a new record for ticket sales. The world is a safer place now, he added. Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed on Friday to decide the legality of President Donald Trump's directive to restrict birthright citizenship in the United States, a contentious part of his efforts to curb immigration and a step that would alter how a 19th century constitutional provision has long been understood. The justices took up a Justice Department appeal of a lower court's ruling that blocked Trump's executive order telling U.S. agencies not to recognize the citizenship of children born in the U.S. if neither parent is an American citizen or legal permanent resident, also called a green card holder. The lower court ruled that Trump's policy violated the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment and a federal law codifying birthright citizenship rights in a class action lawsuit by parents and children whose citizenship is threatened by the directive. The justices are expected to hear arguments during their current term and issue a ruling by the end of June. They did not set a date for the arguments. The Republican president signed the order his first day back in office on January 28th. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said on Friday that the Caribbean nation is a guarantee of security in the region as Venezuela has been facing military threats from the U.S. off its coast. Maduro's comments came just after U.S. President Donald Trump has received FIFA's inaugural Peace Prize for his efforts to promote dialogue and de-escalation in some of the world's biggest hotspots. The U.S. military said it killed 4 men in a strike on a suspected drug vessel in international waters in the Eastern Pacific on Thursday, including this one. There have been around 21 strikes on suspected drug shipments since September 2nd that had killed more than 84 people. The strikes came as the Trump administration is intensifying pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who the Trump administration calls an illegitimate leader. Relatives of Colombians detained in Venezuela blocked a key border crossing for a second day on Friday, demanding the release of their loved ones held in Venezuelan prisons. The protesters gathered at the Simón Bolívar International Bridge, which connects Colombia and Venezuela, after months of unanswered requests to President Nicolas Maduro's government. Families say the detainees were arrested arbitrarily and face charges they insist are unfounded. In October, 18 Colombians were released and reunited with relatives at the Tienditas Bridge, but more than 20 remained behind bars in Venezuela, according to the families. Russian President Vladimir Putin departed from New Delhi on Friday after concluding his 2-day state visit in India. Putin offered India uninterrupted fuel supplies, eliciting a conscious response, even as he and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi agreed to expand trade and defense ties between countries with decades-old ties. India, the world's top buyer of Russian arms and seaborne oil, has rolled out the red carpet for Putin during his 2-day state visit, his first to New Delhi since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. However, New Delhi is also in talks with the U.S. on a trade deal to cut punitive tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump on its goods over India's purchases of Russian oil. India's energy imports are expected to fall to a 3-year low this month following U.S. tariffs and sanctions. Russia has said it wants to import more Indian goods in an effort to grow trade to $100 billion by 2030. International Criminal Court arrest warrants for President Vladimir Putin and 5 other Russians accused of war crimes in Ukraine will stay in place even if a blanket amnesty is approved during U.S.-led peace talks, said ICC prosecutors on Friday. Deputy prosecutors Mam Mandie Nian of Senegal and Nuzhat Shamim Khan of Fiji, who have been responsible for investigation at the court since the chief prosecutor went on leave, said a United Nations Security Council resolution would be required to suspend court-issued warrants. The ICC issued an arrest warrant for the Russian leader and the other 5, their alleged roles in atrocities during the war that began with Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Mr. Putin and Russian Child Rights Commissioner Maria Belova face allegation of illegally deporting hundreds of children from Ukraine. Russia rejects the ICC's jurisdiction and has repeatedly denied allegations of war crimes. Among other high-profile Russian suspects sought by the International Criminal Court are former Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Russian General Valery Gerasimov, who are wanted for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity for attacks on civilians. Honduran presidential candidate Salvador Narcella said for Friday that there have been inconsistencies in the vote count for the country's tight presidential race. Narcella, a 3-time presidential candidate who described himself as center-right, said 2,850 ballots showed inconsistency and did not represent the reality of the vote. Honduran electoral officials have said some 14% of ballots cast in the election showed inconsistency and would be reviewed. Narcy Asfura, the conservative candidate backed by U.S. President Donald Trump, clung to his razor-thin advantage in the election, as counting stretched into the sixth day in a tight contest that has drawn close attention from the United States. With 87.84% of ballots tallied, Asfoora of the National Party had 40.20%, about 20,000 votes ahead of Narsala, who stood at 39.48%. Senator Flávio Bolsonaro said on Friday that his father, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, has backed him for a presidential run next year, jilting markets that had bet on a more seasoned candidate, consolidating support on the right. The senator wrote on social media that his father had chosen him for the mission of carrying on our project for the nation. The head of the Bolsonaro's right-wing Liberal Party, Valdemar Costa Neto, confirmed in a statement that the ex-president, who is serving time for a failed coup plot, had tapped his eldest son as the party's presidential candidate. The ex-president's endorsement on Friday underscored his eldest son's standing as the Bolsonaro family's most established politician in Brasilia. A fire at a restaurant and karaoke bar in Andia town of Huaycán in Peru killed 10 people, including 8 students, and left 3 others seriously injured, authorities said on Friday, citing preliminary investigation. The blaze broke out on Thursday afternoon after an explosion of a gas cylinder and spread rapidly through the building, which was almost completely destroyed. Neighbors and passersby tried to control the flames with buckets of water and fire extinguisher as thick smoke threatened nearby homes, while the absence of a local fire brigade delayed the arrival of firefighters from the city of Julianca, said Mayor Valerio Tapia. Meanwhile, officials said the venue lacked adequate safety measures. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will kick off on June 11th with joint hosts Mexico playing South Africa at the Azteca Stadium, followed by South Korea against a playoff winner after the complex draw was made on Friday. Mexico co-hosts the United States and Canada will join the biggest ever World Cup party the following day. Defending champions Argentina were grouped with Algeria, Austria and debutant Jordans, while Brazil will play Morocco, Haiti and Scotland. France's first game will be against Senegal. Meanwhile, Norway and one of the playoff winners complete their group. World #1 ranked Spain have a dream draw alongside first-timers Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. A newly introduced seeding system ensured that the current top 4 in the world, Spain, Argentina, France and England, cannot meet until the semi-final stage if they win their groups.
Powerful enough to bring the world together.
Before ending, we'll go to the headlines again. Khaleda Zia's travel abroad delayed due to health conditions, says AZM Zahid, urges not to spread misinformation. Tarek Rahman will return to Bangladesh very soon, says Amir Khosru. BNP will go to polls under Tarek's leadership. National election will be a major test for the law enforcers, says foreign advisor. You're updated with the top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.